Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about paracord because I always take paracord with me on a walk. I'll give you some reasons why I do that in a moment, but paracord is it's just an essential item that I always take. I'm not really a reviewer, but it's one of those things that I find really useful. I've used it for quite a few different things, but paracord itself is a name of a type of sort of like rope. It kind of comes, I think it was the Second World War parachuters. They used to use this cord, and it sort of it was the line for the parachutes. Now, there's different types, but the most common is the 550 type paracord. And all that means is that it can actually withhold 250 kilograms or 249 kilograms, 550 pounds worth of weight, and that's its minimum lifting load, or being able to, I don't know what it is, like I don't know, braking load, I guess. And it has so many uses. It kind of goes down, rather than hiking, it's more down like a sort of bushcraft survival kind of item, like an everyday kind of carry sort of thing. The first time I got into it and discovered it, I was I think I was 16, and if not a bit before, and I bought a little survival tin. You might have seen them. It's like an Altoids tin but bigger, and it came with like a little button compass, a candle, tea light, a little water carrier, a bit of a fishing hook and line, and with it was a little bit of paracord. And I was sort of looking into it, and it's incredible stuff. And whilst I've been out and about, like on Dartmoor, doing hikes and stuff like that, I have actually used it in a situation. One time I went hiking or camping with a friend on Dartmoor. We walked from Oakhampton into, I think we got about 6 miles into Dartmoor, just far enough that you couldn't hear the A30, the main road, anymore. And that's actually one of the things I love about walking, is getting away from the noise of roads. But yeah, we were hiking along, and I told my mate, you don't ever jump into something that is round and has very bright green moss in. So the first thing he did was jump into it and ended up knee deep in bog. And he lost his trainer because he wore trainers walking. Who knows, on Dartmoor. So after fishing about, he found his trainer. But we made it to this tour, and there was a bit of a breeze. So rather than like camping in the exposed bit, we kind of went up the tour and pitched the tents next to the actual granite, and there was nowhere on the left-hand side of the tent to actually put the guidelines in, because it was obviously solid rock. So instead, I just took a load of this paracord and hooked it up around the actual bit that has the pole, and tied it around one of the rocks. And it stayed up, did the job absolutely fine. So we're sheltered out of the wind, and that's thanks to paracord. I've used this stuff for boot laces. I had a walking boot lace snap on me, and I just cut a little bit of this, and it worked absolutely fine. If you look online, some say that you should take the strands inside out, and it works well as a boot lace. I didn't. It was absolutely fine, but I guess it's up to you. But yeah, inside of a paracord strand, it's not just one piece of string, for lack of a better word. It's like nylon. There's it's kind of braided. I don't know if you can see. It's like super difficult, isn't it? Can you get a camera to focus? I guess not. No, not going to happen, is it? No. Typical. Well, I'll put a photo. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So you can see it's kind of like braided around the outside. So this green layer is hollow, and then inside you've got 7 strands of more strands wrapped around each other in the middle. And of course, that's where it gets its like tensile strength from, isn't it? But that also means it's got so many uses. So there's the strand, and each one of those, can you see that it's kind of like wrapped around? Now, if you untangle these bits, you are left with, so you cut your length, you're left with, is it still focused? You're left with like 7 of these. Look at that. Now, each of those are really strong, and they can actually be used as fishing line or snare line. So they're really thin and also really strong. So There it is. It's super, super strong. So you can actually attach a fishing hook to the end of that, like so. You just hook it over and leave it. Obviously, this is just cut short just to make it really easy. But this can be left, put on a twig or something over the edge with a bit of like a worm or something over. I'm not a fisher, so go to a fishing channel if you want advice on that. But then when you break it each one down, you end up with that, which is all sort of twisted up, and then you can break that up even further into like this fluff. And actually, you can see that's not even a single strand there. Can you see that is like, God, I think there's like 4 within that one itself. So you can actually use this as like threading. So if you, I don't know, you break your, you break your trousers or something, the groin goes or something like that, then you can actually, you're gonna focus back, you can actually, come on, there we go, you can actually use that with a needle and stitch something up, or if you get a tear in something, you can stitch it up. So, I mean, how versatile is that, paracord? So you could use it as a sling, so the actual stuff here, get a length of it, wrap it around there and around your neck, and you can use that as a sling. You could use it as, I've also used it, I've never used it as a sling, but you can use it to wrap around bits on your case, on your bag, your gear, bootlace, like I've already said. If you really, really hurt your leg, you could get a stick either side, and you could use the paracord to absolutely, give yourself a support. You could use it as a tourniquet, stop the bleeding, all sorts of things. That's just a very small sample of what you can use it for. So, point being, that's why I always take it with me, because it's so versatile. Oh, what about the obvious? Let's say you need to get down something. You might be able to, you could attach it to your kit and lower it down, because 250 kilograms, you and your kit are not going to weigh 250 kilograms. I don't think. If you do, wow, good for you. Or maybe not good for you. So you can lower your kit down, and then you could use it to actually lower yourself down. It's painful. I think you would have to wear gloves or have some sort of protection to be able to do that, because I can't imagine that would be very nice having that wrapped around you. But anyway, that's that. So I always carry it with me. I always I usually normally take that entire bit with me, but for every day, I have these bracelets. I've got one that I bought on eBay or Amazon, I can't remember, years and years ago. It was, you can see that. It was what? Does that work? No, it's just like volume, light volume. Yeah, so it's, come on. Anyway, you get the message, you get the picture. So it's a bracelet, it's got a little buckle, and it just sort of wraps around. And that way, you've always got 10 feet of paracord with you, without having to, carry around a bundle. It just clips on, and there's also a whistle. Sort of make the dog go off, but so little emergency kit there. But you can make them yourself, and I wanted to make one for myself because last night was the first night of lockdown number 2, and this isn't a video about what you can do during lockdown, because you can go hiking during lockdown, can't you? You look for your public footpaths on your OS map. There's plenty of places that you'll be able to go, but you can actually make your own. So I made one last night, and I used a guide, which I will credit. I've not bought from them. I just googled how to make a paracord bracelet, and this company came up. They had guides, like they're a paracord supplier in America basically, and they had they've got like a massive inventory of different types of colour, all sorts of different types of paracord, so it looks awesome. But they also had like a PDF guide of all the sorts of different things you can make. You can make belts, you can make pacekeepers, you can make bracelets, all sorts of different designs and patterns. So I will put a link to their website, because they quite rightly deserve to be credited, because I would not have been able to do that without their PDF guide. So I will mention that as I'm making it. So anyway, I'm going to show you why I carry these, and I'm going to make them for myself. I'll make one for my wife as well, and anybody else who wants one, because it just means you can always have one on you when you're carrying, when you're out and about. You've got to kind of have, I suppose, a certain look. I don't really care about having that around my bracelet, around my wrist, because I quite like it. It reminds me of the outdoors when I've got it there. It just kind of, you know, I don't know, there's something rugged about it that doesn't suit me. That makes me feel even more manly and more outdoorsy. But yeah, I will now show you how to make one of those, because the fact is there's always 10 feet of paracord with me at all times. So yes, here we go. And just to do a credit for the company that I've learned how to do this from with the PDF guide, it's paracordgalaxy.com, an American company. Looks like they've got a really good selection. They don't know me, I don't know them, but it says on the PDF that if you want to use their stuff, you're more than welcome to, but just credit them. So that's exactly what I'm doing. If you fancy giving it a go, they've got like guides and guides and guides and guides and guides of stuff that you can use. So that's exactly what I've done. Okay, so first up, measure yourself 10 feet of paracord. What I'm doing is using a tape measure, and as you can just start it at that end and take it to this end, like so. Excuse the cat. And I've got it set to 10 feet there. Okay, so I've measured the 10 feet of paracord. I've got it all here, and I cut it at 10 foot. One of the things with paracord, because it's nylon, it's you've got these ends here, and what it does is it can fray. So you can see here that it's sort of frayed here, and what if you don't do anything about it, it will just like peel back and just keep on like fraying back like a little flower. So what you do, it's easier to use a lighter because obviously you can control the flame, but you melt the ends to stop it from fraying. So just get yourself a match, that's what I'm doing anyway, and just sort of melt the ends together. Now I probably should have cut these first. One word of caution, it does catch fire, as you can see, but once it's kind of like going, blow it out and be really careful because it's like melted plastic and it will burn you. I've done it before. I've gone, oh, I'll just pinch that together, and it's like, flip, burnt myself. So I'm just going to do that. There was way too much white of the inner core there, so that's why it's turned into such a globule. But melt the end anyway. I don't know, blow on it, try and better. It's still like liquidy, but yeah, that's that end done. And then the other end, this is one that was cut neatly with scissors, was the other one I just used a knife, and that's why it frayed. So with this one I'm gonna, does it go there? Gonna focus. With this one I'm just gonna very much lightly put the heat on it, so literally just going to sort of dab the end with the heat. I don't really want it to catch fire this time, just enough to seal it. There we go. Yeah, I recommend you do that because otherwise it will just fray. Okay, so I have just had dinner, so sorry about that. It doesn't really matter because I guess you didn't even know. So now you do, and there was a delay, you weren't delayed, but there we go. So, step one is to measure your wrist. So this is going to be how much bracelet you're going to make. So I'll do it in inches, so literally just put it around your wrist with the tape measure, and in this case, my wrist is 7 inches in, is it circumference? Let's go with circumference, shall we? And so that is what I'm going to make it. The great thing about this is that if that is 7, you see that? If that is 7 inches, that circumference there, which I think I might have done 8 inches yesterday, I can't remember. You've always got this bit left over. So if it's too tight, you just do this knot a little bit further up, and then that just releases it. So it doesn't really matter if you do it too tight. But that's step one. Step two is to actually measure this. So now I'm using my studio setup here, which is my wife's beauty therapy couch. And you should see what I've got to hold this camera up. I've actually got some masking tape wrapped around the front and the back of the case, which is keeping it at this angle. And then there's a nice jam speaker on top just to stop it tilting over. So very technical. Anyway, you start off with this loop here. Can we see that? Yeah. So put it in half. So two ends meet like that. Straighten it out. And what you want is this bit here. This is step 2. You measure out the 7 inches or whatever it is the length that you came to. So do it like that. 7 inches is here. So at this point, I'm going to fold the two ends back down so that they go down like that. You've got the right one goes off that way, left one goes off that way, and then you're left with this very dangly loop. Okay? So that is step 2. Step 3, you're going to take this one here, the right hand side, over the top of the loop, but under the left strand. Do it nice and gently. So pop that over to there. I've just realised that's going to fall on the floor. But that goes over like that. So that's the first loop. I'm just going to pop that down there, otherwise it's going to fall. And then the one that you've just taken goes there. So what was the left is now going to come under this loop here. So under. And then the end is going to go through the loop that we've got at the top. There we go. So it's a bit twisted, but just as long as you don't lose that loop there. Pop that through. And what you're left with is 2 loops. You need to have 2 loops at the top. So kind of bring it together like so, making sure you don't pull it too tight at this point, because we really do need to have 2 loops here. And we're left with a banana dangling on 2 baubles. And then that goes down there. That goes down there. And we're ready to start the other way. So step 4, or step 5, because that was step 4. How bad is that? This one is now going to go over the loop and under the other strand. Like so. There we go. Then this one on the right hand side is going to go under that loop, there we go, and up through what's left here. Pull it through. And at this point, I kind of want to get this one a little bit more even. There we go. At this point, you're going to pull them together. And now, we want it to be tight. There we go. So that can be as tight as you want. Yeah, so we've got 2 little loops here. Those are important because later, that's what these 2 little strands go through. So repeat. We're now back to the beginning. So this one is going to go over the loop and under the left strand. Okay, make sure you leave a loop there so you can put the other one under. Put that one down. And then the left strand under the loop, so under this and up through this loop here. So you bring it together and just make sure that that is under. See? And then you can pull those two together. And that leaves you with the other side. So now we repeat, but for this side, so remember this one now goes over the loop and under this strand. Like so, leaving a loop on the other side, which the right strand is going to go under the loop and up through that loop there. And again, pull it tight as you can. There we go. So you just repeat that, and we're back to the beginning again. So what I'll do now is I'll just speed it all up, so you don't have to listen to me going on and on and on and on. It's getting really confusing now. Yes. Beautiful. So that's as much as I'm going to get out of this one. It's obviously clearly not as big as it needs to be, but that's because I measured the 7 inches right around this smallest bit here, and I let the loop bits at the top, I didn't fold them down close enough, so I've lost a lot, but you know, you perfect it after you do it a few times. Anyway, you're left with this. So then this right strand, you're going to feed through here, through and down the loop, and over that strand there. And then this one, you're also going to feed up under and back through that loop, but also up through the loop that you're left with here, like that. Bring it together really tight. So, and then you're left with these two dangly bits here. There we go. I'm going to whack that through there. There we go. And then the last bit is really simple. So you're going to pull it around, and this bit here that's on the left, feed it through the left loop. And this one here on the right, feed it through the right loop. There we go. And then that is what forms the bracelet bit. So this one's kind of quite nice. It's a bit cute, isn't it? It certainly doesn't go around my wrist, but this is what I mean. You've got this bit here that allows that. So what you want to do is tie yourself a knot wherever you're comfortable with it going. So you can take it off, and maybe just so once over the two fingers there, just a hand over knot, put it through there. And there you go. Simple as that. And the rest of it you can just cut off. So because that was particularly small, it's not like braided a lot. So I'll just undo this and get back to where I was and continue it. So that's the beauty of it. If you make a mistake, which I often do because I always make mistakes, is you can just sort of tie it, untangle it back to where it was. And that's the cool thing about these bracelets, is that you've then got 10 foot, or you know, whatever you don't cut off, of paracord, which you can just undo if you ever need it in an emergency. So that is absolutely as simple as that. It really doesn't take long. Keep practicing like I need to, and you will be able to get it and perfect it and make it as big as you want it to be. You can make belts out of them, you can do all sorts. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so the ending of that video wasn't particularly good. I'm not a videographer, so oh well. But if you notice with that bracelet that I made, which I haven't got. It was... I haven't got it, so I'll have to go and get it. Hang on. Okay, I got it. That just goes to show these videos. I don't like prepare it. It's literally just whatever I feel like doing. So I measured out 7 inches. So 7 inches. There we go. I'm not sure if that actually shows up on the screen because it's back to front on this, and again, I don't do cameras, so who knows. So I measured out, and remember that loop, the very dangly loop? Well, that was supposed to be 7 inches, but when I measured my wrist, I went around like so and measured it, and it was 8 inches. Did I do 8 inches? I can't remember. Well, that might explain a lot if it was, but whatever the case, it's too small. And I've actually left with, here, I've actually only got 4 and a bit inches, so I'm a little bit of a small one there. Now, that means it should have been to there. So what have I done? I think what happened is that loop, so the little dangly loop, is actually the bit that's in the middle. So it's absolutely so obvious that what I did, you know the bits that came down either side, when I did that first one, I must have not kept them where they were, and when I looped them over, I've lost maybe, I don't know, 1.5 inches, because I didn't have my eye on the game. I was like focused on the video, and then I might have lost a little bit more when I was pulling it all taut. So you've got to be really careful with that. So yeah, this is actually quite, I mean, that's, you know, in itself, it's not too bad, because I mean, it's just a different design, isn't it? There's the other one, which just goes all the way around. I personally like these ones that go all the way around, but you know, this one is, it might suit somebody. So it's entirely up to you, but that's what I did wrong. And so if you want to do it yourself, just make sure that you don't lose any inches at that beginning bit, but give it a go. The whole point of making these is because I always like to have paracord on me because of its uses. It can get you out of a fix. I was thinking, you know, even if you had to, I don't know, you had to use it as like a tow rope or something. If you get like loops of it, it loops it around and round and round, you know, each time you loop it, you double the load, don't you, what it can take. So you'd only need, what, 8 strands to a ton, 2-ton car, so maybe 16 times around, and then you've got like yourself a little emergency tow rope. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's really, really handy. So again, I'll put the guide, the download to the guide in the little, I don't know, is it the comments? Not the comments bit, you know, the bit below the video, whatever it is, and go to that paracordgalaxy.com if you want any of those guides, because they're fantastic. But anyway, if you do make it, have fun. I hope it's enjoyable. I've got other plans to actually make a belt out of one, and I'd also like to make a pace counter. I'm just waiting for permission to use somebody's guide. If not, I'll just do it anyway and say who it is. Yeah, pace counter helps you do your work out your average speed and distance covered without needing GPS. Now, I always use GPS, but how cool would it be to have, you know, a piece of paracord, and you can literally, wherever you are, just make a counter, so long as you know your pace. I'll do another video anyway, but yeah. Anyway, all the best with it, and I hope, if you do it, I hope you have fun, and if you do, and you know me, let me know how it went. Okay, so I wanted to show you how to separate out the strands using paracord, because it's really important to know, like, how to do it. It's not difficult, but if you want to get those little strands, I'll put a picture up of, like, the different types of strand that you can get from it. If you have a look, you can see that it starts off with the outer sheath, which is very much braided. That's obviously going to be the strongest bit, and you can use that for you know, cordage, like shoelaces, that sort of thing. Now, I said earlier that why would you don't have to take the core out, the little strands in the middle out, to do shoelaces. However, I was thinking, if you were going to make shoelaces, what do you need? You probably need, I don't know, maybe a meter? I don't know. If you take the strand out, then you can use all those bits, can't you? So you could then say, well, you've also got, I don't know, 7 little snare wires as well, or goodness knows how much fishing line. So it's all about being resourceful and using it to the max. Whereas if all of that is inside your shoelace, you know, that's going to be absolutely fine. So it's about being resourceful. Anyway, so I've got the paracord here, and I'm going to cut off just a length to show you. So as you can see, so this is from the from the roll, this is frayed, and that what will happen is this will just keep fraying back and keeping on fraying and fraying, etc. That's why you melt the ends. Anyway, taking that, this is my what is it, Open or Life. I love these knives so much. They are brilliant. They're fixed, so you can't take them out with you, but I always have one lying around at home. But they're, yeah, because they're fixed, you kind of, you know, they've got a safety thing. I'm not quite sure what the rules are. Just got to make sure you don't, you know, have them on you. Anyway, so I'm going to cut off a bit. And then you can see there that bit is nice and cleanly cut rather than done. But now, all I have to do, I don't know if we can get that to focus on here again. Come on. Is it gonna? Do I have to tap it? Oh, I don't know. Ah, there we go. So there we go. All I have to do now is just gently pull these out. And then there you go. Nice and easy. So I'm left with the 7 strands inside. There you go. And then a nice long, almost like snakeskin type thing. And it's so strong. It like hurts your hands when you do that. But of course with these strands can literally, I don't know how to do one of those like special knots. I'm sure there's a good way of doing it. But if you want to make yourself a fishing line, you can just tie them together, you know, like one of those hand over knots. You know, that's tight. So that's 2. And this is why, if you're going to make yourself a shoelace, or just, you know, you only need a little bit. It doesn't need to be like super heavyweight lifting stuff. Put these all together. I've never tried this actually. I would really. I'm gonna try it with get a fishing hook, and then suddenly you've got a nice long length. I'm not sure how strong it is. Damn, it's like cheese wire. Anyway, that would probably be okay to catch small fish with. Just get a little fishing hook to go on the end, a stick over that bit, over the edge, and Robert is your father's brother. You have got yourself a fishing line. So, yeah, just thought I'd share that. If you want to separate these strands out even further, they're like twisted really tight together, so you kind of have to almost like untwist it and get rid of the twist, because it kind of like remembers the twist. However you want to do that, I don't know. Just the more you sort of straighten it out, the easier it is for them to come out and fray out. There you go. But that really is if you just kind of want, I don't know, like sewing wire, whatever. But you can do it, you're just going to have to be patient, and I can't be patient enough to do that today. But yeah, hope that helps just to show you what you can do with paracord.